Twitch at this point, but we'll just say hello to you guys on Twitch, and once we get live on YouTube, we'll say a proper hello. But you can see who's with me here, and I have more surprises for you when we get to a full screen here. But just give us a moment, kind of a behind-the-scenes look. Gavin, you're looking lovely. I think I have that same shirt. Almost here, folks.
I gotta log into Twitch here so I can get involved with the chat.
All right. And now we are live, and we are live from the 2024 U.S. Team Trials. We are in the finals. We have two teams going against each other, and G and Adam, hold tight for just a second. I'm going to introduce everybody to the teams we are about to see, and we have a heck of a panel here to share some information about these teams as we see them. But first off, let's take a look at the Fleischer team, currently up 80 imps in this match. And if I can get to the screen, Gavin, that would be lovely.
Pretty amazing that they're up by 80. 6 or 7 boards ago, the match was tied.
Yeah. And here's our partnerships here. We have Fleischer and Martel, and look at this, Gavin. 7 world titles for Martel, world championships for Fleischer, 34 national titles for Martel. I mean, this guy's won everything. And then you have Gru and Moss, who are the next generation of bridge players. 3 world championships total, 1 together in 2017. Brad and Joe have multiple national titles, winning everything in the bridge world, basically. And then you have Hurd Bathurst. They just win this event all the time, basically. Hurd has won 4 trials, I believe. Kevin, 5 trials with 4 different partners. Multiple national championship wins for these guys. And then, you have Nickel here. And Nickel, it has just been impressive in a lineup. They have Nickel and Katz, multiple world championships. Nickel's just won 4 Bermuda Bowls himself. 25 national titles for Katz, 24 for Nickel. Levin and Weinstein, legends, right, Gavin? They've won not only these national titles, world championships, and also a bunch of Cavendish pairs, right? A really good one.
I just can't believe Nick's record. That's unbelievable. Just looking at it. I mean, I know he won my whole childhood when I started playing bridge, but like 9 spin golds and 7 Risingers and
crazy,
4 Vanderbilts.
Right?
Like, what a joke. That's really, like, it's absolutely ridiculous. Obviously for all of them, but that is like bonkers.
Yeah, and then Greco Hampson, just one of the best pairs in the game here. So we have introduced the teams. We've introduced you to Gavin already, and now welcome Adam and Gillian. You guys are both on mute. If you hop off mute, we will introduce you properly. Adam, welcome back, and Gillian, welcome to the program. You know these teams probably better than most of us do.
Well, Gavin knows a few of them because I know some of those wins were with him on the team.
Absolutely. But is there anyone you haven't played with in these teams? Basically, you've probably played with. Did you play with Bobby before or Steve?
I played with Steve and Jeff, obviously, all the time. Brad, Joe, and Johnny. Bobby, I don't know if I've ever played with Bobby. Lots of dinners, but I don't know if I've ever actually played with him.
Well, who's your favorite? Yeah. Just tell us now. No one's listening.
I mean, it all depends on the day. Actually, my favorite on the team is definitely Jeff Hampson. He is just the most fun.
Hampson is one of the funniest.
He is just the funniest. But part of that is that I actually don't play with him, so I'm sure he's more fun.
Yeah, much easier without the pressure.
He's not making faces across the table, but I love Johnny and Joe.
All right. Well, Gavin, what's going on at the table here? You guys paying attention, Gavin and Adam?
No, I'm trying to follow the conversation. Trying to, it's been hard to watch and listen at the same time. Definitely ready to jump in the first. Yeah, and definitely not a multitasker. No, and they played the first board kind of crept through quickly, and there was no swing.
Yep. Is this the second board?
This is board number 2, and they're playing it at a lightning speed. Not surprising with Joe at the table.
Well, Joe's very fast, but Brad's very slow.
So there was a quote attributed to you yesterday, Gavin. It was, if the table's slow, it's Greco's fault, and even if Greco's sitting out, it's Greco's fault. Is that
I said that? Well,
someone attributed it to you. I don't know.
But I would definitely back that up for sure. Greco is ridiculous, like how slow he is. I think he's part of the reason that I fought for the partnership clocks in this event, because I've always felt like no matter how fast you play against him, he uses the rest of the set time no matter what. So it was like nice to have a cap on how long a person can take in a set for
Kevin,
sure.
can you tell everyone about that? Because that's a new feature, right?
Yeah, it used to be that as long as the table got finished by the end of the set, there was no issue. But like we just said, it's not really fair on fast players for you to play quickly and then have your opponents take forever. The faster you play is giving the opponents more time to think. And so it was clearly broken as it was. So with the technology, it opened up the possibility of actually timing how long people take. And so the way that they do it is they give each pair half the time. And there's a lot of dead time that doesn't count against anybody, that like I'm not sure what that is, but basically, if they give you 2 hours for the set, but really, if both pairs used all their time, it would actually take 2 hours and 20 minutes, I think, something like that. And yeah, if you're over, you get 10 minutes of grace for each round as a team. So if you go 2 minutes over one set and then 3 minutes over the next set, and as long as you stay under 10 minutes, there's no penalties. But once you get over 10 minutes for each match, then the penalties start going, and I think they get exponentially worse. Like 11th minute is not.
We talked about
bad,
these, yeah. The worse the longer you play slowly, the worse it gets for you, basically.
Mm.
So, Gillian, you've had a really interesting week, and I need to ask this important question. You've gone to the Central Park Conservancy Hat Luncheon, which is like a legendary event. You've gone to the Met Gala, and we have proof of that. I'm going to show the audience right now. Hello.
Oh, no.
Hello. Yes, you look absolutely stunning there. But now you're at the U.S. team trials via Zoom. Which is your favorite event? Is this your favorite?
Obviously. Anywhere I'm with you, Rob, is always the most fun.
Well, you can take me to the Met Gala next year. I'll go. Or is
it
gala? Is it gala or
yeah?
Talk to Sylvester, right? All right. So one no trump, 2 hearts, probably showing hearts in the minor. Let's see.
Five hearts and a minor. Yeah.
Yep, hearts and a minor, and double is just
a negative double, and this is just like something that everybody needs to, all intermediate players need to learn, that this has become the complete standard, that when it goes one no trump and they overcall, to play negative doubles and not penalty doubles. Back in the day, it was always penalty doubles, and in fact, when it started to convert to people playing takeout doubles, you would say to an old-fashioned player, like, let's play negative doubles after one no, and they would look at you like you were absolutely crazy. Like, what do you mean? Well, I got to be able to get them. They're coming in over my one no. But it's just been discovered that it's so important to compete for the part score, and those hands come up so much more frequently than the penalty double hands. So everybody just plays negative doubles, and so much so that experts always start with negative doubles when they have 4-card majors. So for those of you that play Lebensal and have learned that Lebensal, that you use slow stamen with a stopper, without a stopper, all that stuff is kind of gone by the wayside as well, because we just use negative doubles with 4-card majors. We no longer use Lebensal for stamen or any of that stuff. It completely standard expert practice.
And here on this end, they've settled in 3 hearts with the East-West cards, and that looks like a pretty interesting spot.
A good lead.
It was, yeah. He knows to lead trumps. His partner's open one no trump, and he has 10 high card points. So the only real way that they're going to make 3 hearts is by roughing a lot of losers. And as you can see, obviously Steve would really like to rough some diamonds in the board, but he's not going to be able to. And it doesn't look like it's going to time out amazingly, because he's going to have to keep knocking out diamonds to set up his diamond suit, and the opponents can force out his hearts quickly, as long as Joe. Sorry.
He might just take 3 trumps and 2 aces here.
I think he might get one more. The 9 of clubs is well placed for him, because now what's going to happen is, so Joe's going to want. Joe smartly jumped up with the queen of diamonds here to make sure that Brad wasn't on lead, and now so that way Joe can lead a club through the dummy, and he should play low. I imagine he's going to play low, and that's going to solve the club suit for him. So he's going to take some more tricks for sure.
Herb Bathurst and 4 spades on the second board, so definitely will be a different result. Maybe favorable, maybe unfavorable. We'll find out. And Gillian, congrats on the South American Championships.
Thank you.
A champion in our midst here.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. Gavin was there, not Adam.
It was. It was one of the nicest events I've ever been to. I will definitely be back.
All right.
So he didn't
play low.
10.
That's going to cost him. The 10 is definitely going to cost him.
And just so you know, folks, this was a very, very close match until about 5 boards into the last set last night. And then Fleischer just went on an absolute tear. And if you think about it, this is, the equivalent of getting knocked down in the first round, basically. And now, how will Nickel respond here? They need a little bit. Ewan is banning Adam Parrish Bridge. What did Adam say, Flannery? I didn't even hear it, Ewan. What's up? And Ewan, now that you're here, I want to just give a shout out. Ewan has been running this broadcast when I haven't, and also misclick, he says, and also we'll be running it in the second set. And I just have to give a shout out to you now that I know you're here, Ewan. Thank you so much. You've done an amazing job, and I really appreciate you jumping in. And there is down 2.
So Weinstein actually he found a clever play to save the hand there. After Brad won the Jack of Clubs, he just discarded his little spade, and that left South with no real way of tapping him out, because he that gave him the time now. Because if he came back the Ace of Clubs, then he got killed the tap in the club suit. So he was always 2 down there. It was a claimed 2 down once he made that good play.
Do you want to see Herdman play 4 spades at the other table? He's got a shot at making it. It looks like. Take a look. This could be a reasonable swing at the beginning.
Yeah, it looks like Greco has not gotten off to a great lead. He's found he's assuming Johnny plays low at trick 1, he's going to be able to avoid losing a heart trick. He has 4 top losers, sort of, 2 diamonds. I guess he would have been able to get rid of the heart anyway on the Queen of Clubs, it looks like. So he was going to make this hand. With trumps 2-2 and the King of Hearts on side, he really only has a heart loser, 2 diamond losers, and a club, but the Queen of Clubs will get rid of that little heart. So he might actually not even play low right now. He might actually put in the Queen of Hearts, because he can see that there's a very good chance. He doesn't know anything from the bidding. It's gone 2 spades, 4 spades, so he has no idea where any of the honors are. He does know that.
What do you think about that 2 spade bid by Johnny here?
I think he's first chair white red. I mean, I think that he's just going to open because he's first chair white red. You're gonna open in that spot. I'm surprised that they didn't.
That's sketch.
Really? I don't know. I think it's pretty normal. Specifically first chair white.
That's how much bridge has come in the last decade or so. This is like, I think that's pretty normal.
And now Bobby's
I wouldn't either.
Right? Bobby didn't do it.
Yeah.
Well, he was the Wiz kid back in the day.
I'm shocked at how many 10-point hands with 4-4-3-2 are opening. Just opening. Just open one.
That's okay. Part of Brad and Joe's system is they open all 10 points.
But it's not. It's a lot of precision players, but sometimes it's honestly Kevin or Johnny or something like that. So it's just the aggression of the play and bidding is just so much more these days. It's really
not the nickel team. Not the nickel team.
Right.
Understood. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
They're older. Right.
Whoa, Gillian. They're more seasoned or experienced. Slow play is not slow play unless Adam's talking about it. Adam hates slow play more than anybody.
It is boring when you're watching. That's
but
for sure.
It's deliberate.
The trials
it's
really
thoughtful,
have nuked the slow play. It's amazing how quick the play. It's noticeably, unbelievably quick compared to.
I thought Joel played. I mean, Joel seemed like a relatively deliberate player in the past. Seemed like he was playing perfectly normal pace, at least.
Yeah, I only had to complain about Greco like 3 times.
Greco was particularly deliberate yesterday,
but for him, that was speedy. So that has sold me on tablets. Like I was sold already, but like if the tablets can do that and track the time.
Right. And honestly, for kibitzing, it's astonishingly. Yep, there it is.
Yeah, I think if he let a diamond on the opening lead, they might have been able to beat it because they could play 3 rounds of diamonds, and South can overruff. I think that was the killing defense was to find a doubleton diamond lead. And honestly,
here's another spade suit.
I don't think it would have been a bad lead. We're looking at Queen 10 doubleton of trumps to lead your doubleton diamond. would have been pretty reasonable.
All right, so next hand, we're at the table that's a little bit further ahead. Who would you like to get into the mind of, ladies and gentlemen? That's the question. Would you like to jump into the head of any of these players? Which one? We've done Brad, we've done Joe before. Maybe we can try out an East-West pair. What do you guys think?
I think we should do Joe and see how well Gillian actually knows what's in his mind.
Well, I was told, according to Joe, that whatever's going on in Brad's mind is not what anybody else is thinking.
Yeah. so it's a futile effort to jump into Brad's seat because it's just
he said that what's normal to other people, just Brad doesn't understand that. Because one time I played with Brad at a regional, and he tried to explain to Brad, what he was supposed to do, and he said to me, just get that he's not going to be normal. So just get it. He's an amazing player, but he's not going to be doing the same things that we would do.
So do you mean he's an amazing player, but he's a weirdo? Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, they're all a little strange, aren't they?
It's a King of Diamonds lead here. It looks like pretty normal. The first time I ever played with Brad Moss was on a team with you and Joe, actually.
I remember.
In Saratoga.
I think you might still have the scars to
I do.
it.
I still have the scar to prove with our friend Justin. Yeah.
Justin Lull was our cheerleader.
That was such a great. I mean, that was a great tournament.
Yeah, he was the best. But yeah, that was really fun. But Rob thought he could keep up with Justin in the after-hours activities.
Yeah,
and
no, I hadn't met Justin.
It didn't end well.
I'd only known him for a year at that point. So.
Yeah.
All right,
so at the other table, they're in a pretty interesting spot. It's the hand we watched where Weinstein was 5-6 in the majors.
Yeah, here we go.
Greco didn't double. You're down by 80. And your partner made a negative double, and he didn't take a piece with ace king third of trumps. They got all the way to 4 hearts, and he had an opportunity to get 800 here and pick up a game swing.
That's a little shocking.
It's kind of surprised. You need to catch up, and you've got ace king third of trumps and an ace, and your partner made a negative double.
Right? Who has something, right?
Yeah, I feel like definitely a missed opportunity.
Are you confident when the partner makes a negative double too that they're? I mean, I guess they could be wildly shaped, but they're not as extraordinary.
But they don't have a zero count.
Right,
they're competing. They think that
right.
that it's like a split deck hand at least. So I would expect my partner to have like a 5 count or something. If they had an ace, I would make a negative double with the right shape. This
could break the streak right here. They've ripped off now 83 imps in a row, I believe. So they need something to get back on the plus side here.
Well, they're going to go on plus for sure. No.
But honestly, there's still a lot of time left, but you clearly, and from a psychological perspective, it just is not great to be down this much.
Right.
Well, and not be hungry and try to get a number in a spot like this where, like, how bad could it be to double? You've got ace king third of trumps and an ace, like, so if they make it, you're going. It's not like you're playing match points and you're going to get a 0. This is a game that you're doubling, and it's and you need imps. It's got to be demoralizing. Like, I'm sure that Hampson will be sitting there like after he sees the hand, like, what do you need? Like. Maybe if you had ace king queen of trumps, you might have doubled.
But I mean,
that actually sounds like Jeff.
Yeah.
Jeff, one of the most entertaining people to just be at a dinner with. Like,
he's just so witty and so quick, and he thinks of things in.
Well, who else could we describe as witty and quick? I think there's another person named.
You?
No. I was thinking Joe.
Yeah, Joe.
Joe, yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Definitely.
My favorite hand story, just real quick. I was playing with my partner Greg, and I passed a Q bid. They opened a club, Greg doubled, I bid something, Greg bid 2 clubs, and I had a 0 count with 5 clubs, and I passed. And so he's playing this hand that's cold for 6 hearts in 2 clubs, and he makes 3. And so he goes up to Hampson the next day. He's like, "Do you remember this hand?" And Hampson's like, "No, I don't remember hands."
Yeah.
And he says, "I was in 3 clubs, making 3, and without missing a beat." He said, "You chopped it. You can make 4 on a squeeze." He could analyze the most ridiculous contract on the spot. Like, yeah.
when I first moved into the junior house there, I first came back to bridge, I sat there and I guess I would say I listened, but I heard what they were saying because it was just like too fast, you know. Joe, hey, what do you have there? And it's just, hey, you have this suit, and halfway through it is like, oh yeah, we defended 3-0 Trump down 1 because she led a club. You know, it's just like, okay, can I slow it down a bit?
I've trained them when they want to talk hands, they have to start off really slowly,
exactly.
tapping it hand.
And write it down. Write it down.
You're not alone. I can't keep up at their pace. They start giving a hand. I'm like, write it down. Just write it down.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, they're giving you the defensive position at trick 9. Like, it's just, oh yeah, we got to here, and then okay, guys. All right, so a club spade, double.
It's a kind of a mixed raise hand. It's not lovely that it's 4-3-3, but decent chance we see him jump to 3 clubs to show his mixed raise. 2 kings is decent.
Which you would
otherwise his other choice, he might just make like a simple raise. He also might, playing transfers after one of a major double, he might show a good 3-card raise with that hand. That's what he's chosen to do there because he's kind of forgetting the fact that he's got the 4th trump, but still showing a positive hand for his partner. I think that's a pretty reasonable approach.
Seems like a good compromise.
Yeah. No real reason to get this hand to the 3 level with North. It's not a typical 9-card fit with no doubleton. And we see that they're in spades. We can see that the queen of spades is offside, so they're going to lose 2 spades and the ace of hearts and the ace of clubs. But with the diamonds 3-3, they're going to be able to throw away the 5 of hearts from the North hand and make so that those will be the only 4 losers: 2 spades, the ace of hearts, and a club. So as long as they don't bid game, they're going to go plus. And at the other table, they did not compete to 3 spades, so 3 clubs by East West went down 1, but it's a nothing hand because North South were entitled to 140.
Gavin.
1 imp at a time, baby. Coming back.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts after now playing more tablets? You've now gone through another trials with the tablets. Like, what do you think?
I think it's good and it's bad. It's got pluses and it's got minuses. I think that it's both social and antisocial. It's like, it's really nice being in a room with one other person. And in fact, one of the things the broadcast is missing, which would be great, is if you actually had video feeds from the room. The conversations that we're able to have in the room because our partners can't hear us. Are much nicer, more vibrant, more interesting. Like sometimes I'm sitting in there and I'm talking out loud what I'm thinking because my right hand opponent's dummy, and so I can just be like, well, you know, and I'm actually like, it's almost like I'm streaming, you know, where I'm sitting in the room and giving a stream of consciousness out, and also just analyzing hands afterwards. You can talk in a way that freely because it's not disturbing the table. You're not giving anything away. It would be cool if anyway. So
several people have said the same thing you have. The social, that part of the social aspect is terrific, especially if you don't know the person and you're getting to know them in this sort of way. So it's really interesting that way.
Like the game itself, it definitely feels cleaner. There's no question that people have more misunderstandings because they don't hear how hard the bids hit the table or when the cards. There's less information passing. So there's no question that it's doing a good job of reducing
solving a problem.
UI, not completely eliminating it. There's other kinds of UI, unauthorized information that still happens with the tablets that they can clean up. There's some flaws with the interface, like you have to click to see alerts, so you know whether there was an alert on the other side of the screen because you hear your opponent click the screen, like, and the mouse is pretty loud. So like there's that flaw, like that they really need to make the alerts just show on the screen
for the appropriate people. That makes sense.
Yeah, but it's the format's amazing. I wish there were more tournaments that did this.
This way is awesome.
Yeah, and from a kibitzing perspective, yeah, it's not even close. Yeah, and also from a playing perspective, to be able to go back and look at the hands, not say to your teammates, "What happened to you on that disaster of yours?" You could just go click through and see exactly what happened, and yeah. So there's. Well,
you see the players between sets kind of going to their phones and going, "Okay, what happened here?" And you know. Yeah, some fun stories. It's
so nice as viewers knowing that every card is real. It wasn't an operator error on the view graph.
Yeah, is that a view graph mistake?
No, he really played the 10.
Yeah.
And also, you just don't have a view graph operator at the table. Just kind of like, that's a lot of manpower that's not crowding around a room.
Yeah, also maybe a leak of information, not anything like people, they don't give anything away, but there's like an extra heartbeat in the room, you know.
What are you a predator or something?
I'm
like
just
that?
saying, like it's like it's good to not have a neutral person in the room. It's
yes, yeah. Someone in the chat on YouTube says, "Yeah, I can picture Gavin streaming to Kit sitting there."
I was like, you don't even know, like, yeah, it's so funny.
So what do you say are the biggest negatives, Gav?
Well, you're not holding cards. You're not. It's a card game, and you're not getting to hold cards.
Game.
Like it's yeah.
That's what makes me feel weird.
Yeah.
Right.
You've never tried it though, Gillian, right? Like you no. So like that's the thing is I think that they should have other tournaments that are not the trials with it. I don't think that they should convert tournaments that exist right now to be tablets. I think that they should start events with these things. Like try some, not don't force people who don't want to play with tablets to play with tablets, but start introducing this.
You could start, even if you could just do a pair game or something like that, where it's no pressure, because what they're talking about now is if you get to the finals or further along in national events, switching to tablets. So that's difficult for somebody like me who's never done. It was like the first time I played,
behind screens. Yeah,
I had no idea it was coming, and I was like, oh wait, and it was fun. It was actually with Jeff Hampson, and he made the experience great. But had I been with somebody else, it could have been, you're nervous, you don't know what's going on, and I think you would feel that way with the tablets if you had never done it. So it would be nice to at least do it in a low pressure situation, and then have a more informed opinion, as opposed to just being like, it's a card game and I don't like the idea of it.
They did do some practice introductory stuff before they did it at the trials the first time a couple years ago, right?
They do it now too. They did it for this as well.
Yeah,
but they need to have events that practice in, like non-important events, and that
problem is that's a big investment,
Yeah, like a 1-day pair thing or a 2-day pair thing that you could just do for fun.
Yeah. So you had a question on your YouTube there, Rob, about Kevin's hand balancing double. So when it goes to no trump, 2 hearts, 2 spades, this is definitely an auction that you would consider balancing at. But when you're playing imps, it's just the downside significantly outweighs the upside for making like a reopening double, forcing to the 3 level with a balanced hand. The chances of you hitting your target and making 3, it's only going to be right to balance when you can make something at the 3 level and they were only making 2 spades. Whereas at match points, it can work because you go to the 3 level, they're not able to double you, and you just give them 50 a trick, and you outscore their 110. At imps, that doesn't help you. So by like going for it, it's like putting yourself on the line for a very, very small target to gain. So you really don't make nearly as many of these competitive doubles at imps, especially against good players who are really, really good at getting you for numbers. It's even more dangerous. Like you just learn not to come in.
Elle makes a really good point in the chat. Also, when bidding boxes first came out, I happen to remember that. By the way, I don't know if any of you have been playing bridge long enough to remember when bidding boxes weren't a thing, but it was crazy. People were like, "What are we doing? Why would we do this?" And bidding boxes were amazing for bridge in so many ways. Not only did you not have to. Yeah, you didn't have to ask for a review anymore. Yeah. You know how many times you wasted at a bridge table asking, "Can I have a review, please?"
How's the bidding on?
The bidding box is right there now. It's like, and it's amazing now. It's the people sometimes can't give a review because like, the cards are gone. I don't remember what the hell happened.
It's funny what they do in Australia is pretty interesting. They have a little notepad on the center of the table where you actually write your bids on the piece of paper.
That's pretty sweet, actually. That's a lo-fi way to do it. I like it.
And you circle it when you alert, and that way at least there's a record of the bidding afterwards.
Well, one thing that they do in Europe apparently and everywhere else, they leave the bidding boxes on the biddings on the table until the opening lead. That's genius. Why don't we do that?
They do until the lead, exactly. What's funny is I played against someone the other day who had not played live bridge since the pandemic, except at some nationals, and it was just at the club.
Mm-hmm.
And she kept saying, "What's the contract? What's
right, because it's not.
I'm so used to BBO where you just click. So I guess she wasn't even paying attention when she wasn't involved. It was kind of funny.
All right, here we go. So after they tie off board 7 at the other table, we'll come back to this table at some point. But let's jump into one of those chairs, Joe's chair, and see how well we know Joe Grew. And also, we also get the side benefit of getting a little bit into Brad's head as well.
And that would be interesting.
Dangerous territory.
Yeah, so this is just seems like a normal inverted minors auction.
Mm-hmm.
They 2 clubs is a limit raise or better, and so East. I wouldn't be surprised if Johnny just bids 2-0.
There it is.
Yeah, with the majors
really
well stopped
majors,
and the Jack of Diamonds being let in. Plus, he only has 3 clubs, so
partner rates too.
And then when you're leading against 3-0, this is a pretty automatic heart lead for Greco. You're looking like you're obviously normally going to lead from your long suit, but it's actually you're pretty happy leading from 4 small. It's unlikely to give anything away, and it should be on this hand. Johnny will be really, really happy to have avoided a diamond lead, and
exactly.
and when he goes to play the hand, his goal is going to,
there it is.
He found a diamond lead.
And honestly, this might be one of those, hey, we're down a lot, let's give this a shot type things, and it's going to work out really well.
Well, if you're in tune with like the way inverted minors is kind of taught, is that often people just bid 2-0 to say I have stoppers in the majors, and they kind of disregard the diamond suit. So looking at ace queen third of diamonds, it could easily be the hand that partner's got king fifth of diamonds. So like I think it's actually was a really smart lead, and it's going to scare Johnny. Johnny's going to see that well, if he plays the queen of diamonds, from Johnny's perspective, even if he plays the 2 of diamonds, Johnny's going to be scared because the diamond suit is wide open.
He's still going to take 9 because he's going to get 4 hearts, 2 clubs, 2 spades, and the diamond, right?
Right. But he's not going to be confident in the process.
He's really not going to love it.
Now, it would have been interesting if on a heart lead to watch Johnny play it, because on a heart lead, he would have been really scared about letting Greco in because he's got this vulnerable diamond suit of king 10 opposite jack and 1. So we would have seen him play the club suit in a way to try to lose a club trick to North, but he wouldn't have really been able to on this lie of the cards. It would go club and Greco would split with the 10, and then on the ace, if Hampson needed a diamond through, he would have to drop the queen from Queen Doubleton to make sure that he doesn't get stuck, because otherwise when he plays a club up and it goes queen, he could let him have it.
Ducks it, and then he has him in the spot that he wants him.
It was very close to an interesting hand.
Close to an interesting hand. That is the title of my next book.
Close to an interesting book.
Yeah, close to an interesting book, exactly. It might be okay, but you can do without it, seriously.
So the question here, I think, is would Hampson encourage with 9/5? Right? Because if he has 9/5 and Hurd has jack third, Greco needs to play low here and keep the queen.
The problem is that the diamonds are still blocked if he plays low. So I think he was just taking his time, and we were going to see the queen of diamonds 100% of the time.
And now Johnny just has to put the jack of hearts on the table and cross his fingers for the
So he's going to look, he's like, does a quick scan. Am I going to have enough trick? Or he did this all while Greco was thinking. Yeah, that's the nice thing about having Greco at your table when you're playing with clocks is he gives you more than enough time to solve your problems before it's your play.
I see. I haven't seen a terribly interesting hand to want to put you guys in with. But don't sweat too much of don't sweat the other table, guys. And also, if you're playing at home, that does mean you have to drink. Apparently, I say sweat so often that it's become a drinking game in the chat. So
there you go.
You kept saying efforting when is that a word, really? Efforting?
I just love that word.
Is it a word? You kept saying it, and I'm not 100% sure. I almost Googled it to see if it was a word.
I'm still going to use it, just like shebang's not a word. I still like it.
If we're playing Scrabble, I will have to. It's too many letters.
By the way, if I get that word on the table in Scrabble,
shebang is a word now.
Shebang should be a word. Yeah.
I think it's become a word. Justin liked it.
So I haven't. The question came, sorry, in the chat about going to Australia, but I played when I was really young. I went and played a couple tournaments there. I loved it. Like I would recommend both Surfers Paradise in February, and back then I've heard it's not as great now, but the Canberra National Open teams was amazing, absolutely, and two of the best experiences of my entire life playing bridge. But I haven't been there in 20 years.
When did efforting become a word? The only known use of the verb is in the mid 1600s, I believe. Is efforting a word? Let's check that one out.
You're a Renaissance man.
Okay, it might not be a word, but
it is now.
It's now in the bridge vernacular. All right.
So I think we'll see Hampson respond. Oh, I don't know if you're changing tables, but I think we're going to see Hampson respond here.
Not yet.
But he's not going to bid 1 heart, 2 hearts, because that's going to show a more constructive raise. So I think he's going to bid 1 no trump, semi-forcing with this weak hand. That's kind of the and then you might look at home and say he's only got 4 points. Why would he respond? But it's to disrupt the opponents. They're playing a strong club, and he's only got 4 points, and he knows his partner is somewhere between 10 and 15, and so it's very often the opponent's hand for game. And so he's bidding a no trump to just kind of disrupt them. He knows his heart fit is going to protect him in some ways, although on this hand I don't think it'll protect him at all with West having ace king 9 5 of hearts, but and they could get into a lot of trouble, but now he's going to give up on the hand. He's not going to tell them about the heart fit. He's out.
I hope Weinstein Levin never come into this Twitch stream, because Flannery is a 4-letter word apparently in the chat. So where do they end here? Still in 4 spades, right? That's kind of... There's no chance of anything else happening here, right?
Well, it went Michaels. So he's going to bid again. Johnny's just thinking about what to bid. He has clearly not shown his hand. He's just deciding whether to show his clubs.
I think Flannery is good, especially in auctions when not used. The negative inference is interesting, but I like the double meaning there. All right, there it is. Kevin's got a real nice hand for spades with ace king of hearts here, and if Johnny has a strong hand, they're dancing, and this looks like it's going to be about the same score here. So why don't they're playing a part score at the other table. We'll let them tie that off a little bit, and then we will become Joe Gru. Are you ready for the transformation?
I played tennis with Joe every day this week. He was definitely exercising a lot, and he's been in the zone. Getting in his head about bridge is hard to do. He's a special player.
He's special, and he's a great player.
So I heard from them that yesterday in that final set that went so well in the end, that they had 2 bidding misunderstandings for the very first.
Yeah, they were in a 2-2 diamond fit on one hand. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, both they forgot something, which I guess maybe also being the fighters that they are kind of motivated them. I don't know. I was not watching, but I did hear that.
Oh, you mean the Fleischer team played a 2-2 fit?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was Brad and Joe specifically. They had 2 misunderstandings back to back, like the first 2 boards or maybe even 3 boards that did not go well, and then I think that's sort of what spurred them on.
Okay.
So there were a couple questions. There were a couple questions about specific bids. One was Johnny and Kevin 1 no 2 no, puppet 3 hearts is a transfer. So there's questions about that, and they play it that way just because that gives them extra benefits and extra room to kind of maneuver when they find good stuff.
It also lets there's definitely it's become about half the field plays that 2 no as puppet these days. It's a little bit I think it gets them some extra benefits both.
But then they play transfers after it. But then they play 2 no puppet.
They probably get to pick which side declare is. It depends on how they're using it, but they also avoid getting doubled in 3 clubs. That's one thing.
That's the big win for it. Yeah, no lead directions.
And the loss of having 2 ways to accept a diamond transfer is not that big.
Yeah, right. Because the frequency of that is just so much lower than other things. If you're watching out there, especially Rick down in Florida, we're going to be on pretty much all day. This channel, the YouTube channel, is going to be off for the second set. I have a little bit of time off, but then I'm back for the last 2 sets. We'll hopefully see him. I know one person here is really rooting for Nickel to come back. In fact, we kind of all are probably rooting for Nickel to come back a little bit just to make it exciting. But, I mean, let's be honest. We have friends everywhere on these teams. It's kind of hard to watch. And you're going to be happy for whoever wins.
Mm-hmm.
But you may have your favorite. And that's just, that's the way it goes.
Mm-hmm.
I help keep the system notes for 2 partnerships on the Nickel team. So
Right,
I'm
yeah.
a de facto team member.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Yep, I love them all, but if I have to choose, I'm Team Fleischer.
Fleischer fan girl.
Mm-hmm.
I won't say who I'm fanboying for, but I think everybody knows. I don't think it's not a shock.
No.
I obviously am fanboying for Gavin. That is where
It was
I'm at.
tough watching that set. I mean, just every decision. The Fleischer team.
Well, it's not like they played particularly badly. It's just that they were, the other team was just amazing and
played 3-no trump instead of 4 spades
and 6 clubs on the 4-3 hand. I mean, just like just really great stuff.
Yeah.
This was the last segment yesterday.
Yeah. And we were talking about it, Gavin. You can probably give some light on this as well. You never want to have a set like that, but to have it be the last set of the first day is at least some good news, because you don't have to go right back in there and start playing at any point. You can just lick your wounds and maybe, take a deep breath.
Yeah, that's definitely looking at the bright side. I mean, there's no good time to lose ADMs.
Obviously. All right, here we go, guys. I'm gonna try to do it at this table. Oh no, they're already playing. God, they're so fast at the other table. They're on board 9 right now, playing it at this point. So maybe I tell you what, guys. Let's find a different way to do this at this table.
Is it that they're so fast, or that Greg goes so slow? He finally played the Queen Iris back.
I forgot what table we were at. Excuse me. How you doing, Adam? Are you okay?
The conversation is making up for it.
All right, good. Thank God Gillian's here.
We're covering the time.
What's the matter? You have to go somewhere? Or?
No. Adam is always.
Adam's on a little jihad against.
Adam tilts against slow play. He's a very.
Whoa. Okay.
I mean, I definitely think slow play is the killing the game. I think it's a bad part of the game. It makes it impossible to watch.
It does. I will go start to lose my patience, and I'll go to the other table, and then I end up not watching because it's just too annoying.
No, me too. I hate it.
And I just keep track with the scores, and I don't watch, which is too bad because it is fun to watch.
Yeah. I mean, even just playing the spin gold against some people, it's not fun, right? It's supposed to be a fun game.
Well, we talked about this in a number of our broadcasts about a clock possibly with extension possibilities. Like in, I guess in pool and other things, you can take, hey, I need an extension, I need a little bit more time, but maybe a clock, a specific clock, like, hey, you do not go over this or the penalties are super severe.
I feel like, any individual decision, I don't know, a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, something like that. And then any given hand, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever.
I'll tell you, the way that they're doing it in the trials is it's very well executed, because like what happens is you have hands early in the set.
You're individually penalized too.
Where you have an over trick that you could play for, but you're like, it's board 2. I don't know if I'm going to need the time. And so you just claim it off. And whereas like if you've been good banking your time for the first 8-10 boards, I can take as long as I need in this decision, and you learn to be conscious of time. I think that's all you really need, is for people to feel like, hey, I only have so much of this time. Should I be using this time for this thought?
Interesting.
Or rather than I have as long as I need. I'm going to take as long as I need for every decision that I'm going to take because my opponents are playing quickly and we're going to finish on time anyway. Like it's definitely good the way this is it's well executed. I don't know if the penalties are accurate or like the amount of grace is right, but the idea that each partnership has a clock and that you're well aware of how much time you have left is amazing for the game. If they can find some way of translating that from tablets back to cards, it would make a huge positive effect on the game. I really believe it.
Yeah, you do. In your tablet, you do get a personal clock. You get a look at your clock. We were talking about this the other day to answer a question from the chat there, and also that's a good point in baseball. Like pitchers got used to the pitch clock pretty quickly, and that people would get used to it. They would learn to play in a more efficient way, I suppose.
So the way it works is it's not a live clock. What during the bidding, it shows you how much time you had. So first of all there's one set timer that's always going on the screen. So it starts at an hour and 20 minutes because you get 2 hours for the set. And that the moment the set starts, it starts ticking down live from 1 hour and 20 minutes. Sorry, 2 hours, I think, to 120 minutes down to 0. And then at the beginning of every hand, it shows you how much time you have left on your partnership clock. But that clock doesn't update as the hand goes because you don't want to know, you don't want to be able to figure out how much time your partner used on the other side of the screen. So all it says, so like at the beginning of the hand, it might say like you can see that there's like 80 minutes left in the set.
Yeah.
And you can see that you have 50 minutes left on your clock, which means you have more than half the time left, and as long as your number isn't red, it means that you're playing on time. If your number is red, it means that you and your partner are behind.
So no penalties have been assessed in this match, but previous matches in this event, there were quite a few, and one team in particular, Simpson, was met with most of those, I believe. But yeah, no, I don't think so. Well, I don't know, but.
Must have been Joel. How could it not? No, I take that back. Rodwell. It was
Rodwell was on the team. So, but that's what I'm saying. Joel. I felt like Joel. I watched Joel quite a bit because those matches were close. Joel was playing. I mean, for me, like lightning compared to.
Yeah, no. I forgot. I just played a regional against Rodwell, and it was Greco level. So yeah, there's no question it was Rodwell. I don't know. I would put money though right now.
But Rodwell. The thing is, there are times and this is going on in the chat. It's a really good conversation in both chats, by the way. The times where, what am I trying to say here? There are times where you need a lot of thought, right? And it's right. Some of these guys are thinking about things that half of the people wouldn't even think about, right? So there should be some way to extend in situations, but then keep the regular decisions to a minimum amount of time. Like, hey, look, there's only one or two ways this is going to go. Make your choice. You don't have to tank for 5 minutes on that.
I might be in the minority among top players, and I don't put myself in that level, but I think that part of the game should be getting to the right decision in a reasonable amount of time, and that 10-minute tanks shouldn't be part of the game.
It's just a different game, and I think it would be a more fun game for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
But honestly,
it's not fair, right? When one person is taking that much time and no one else is, like you said, it's a different game.
So we're talking a lot over the bridge, but it's mostly because it is a completely flat four spades making. So this is the other bad part about spectating bridge is that a lot of the hands are meaningless. At imps, once you get to a certain point, for us, it's a foregone conclusion because we can see all four hands. Where probably if we kibitz from an individual person's perspective, we would not be as aware that the outcome was a foregone conclusion. But sometimes when we're watching, it's hard to continue paying attention.
I'll tell you what then. Let's flash forward to board 10 at the other table. And then let's finally, for God's sakes, we've been talking about it. Let's be Joe Grew.
But it's impossible to pick up.
Can we see what they played between?
Absolutely. Here you go. Yeah. I can show you everything, because we have the technology here. Here we go. So this was the entire hand to start. It went pass a club by Brad, which is just their normal club, not precision because they're vulnerable in second seat. 2 spades by Steve. 3 clubs by Joe, and that is where they played it.
Yep.
Tough spot for Joe.
Yeah, after 2 spades,
right.
like you're not quite sure. That just goes to show you guys why you preempt, right? You make their choices much more difficult. You take away their options, and here it doesn't look like they've done poorly here. They've gotten to the. They're not going to make a game, right? Yeah, following a slow pair feels like getting cheated. This is from the chat. When you start each round with 8 minutes left on the clock, there's those are always the most frustrating situations.
Why don't you just jump us into Joe's seat right now? We're not going to watch the rest of this hand, and that way we're ready to watch from the right perspective.
Wait,
and don't.
Wait a second, Gavin. You haven't been watching all week. My clicking skills have been flawless. So just
no, but doing it before we see all 4 hands.
Don't worry, I can.
You're gonna do it, okay?
Dude, you just chill. You just chill.
He's the pinball wizard.
Okay, I have firsthand experience that is just not true. So
this is a new platform, Gavin. But if it makes you feel better, can I put him in timeout, guys? Is there a way I can do that?
I've got to say that Lovebridge has done such a good job.
Here we go.
With this technology and with responding to requests from the USBF, right?
Agreed.
Like adding the timer thing. The partnership timer was new this year. That was a request from USBF, and it sounds like it's been fantastic.
So we're playing precision here, ladies and gentlemen. The only thing that's weird is the board is not the correct way. We're sitting north. Just recognize that. So he's going to open a diamond here. Is that their shebang, if you will? Whoa! Joe Boo. Just pass with 12 points. Yeah, people are saying, relax, Gavin. Rob's clicking skills are better. Yeah.
Is anyone else pretty surprised at pass?
I'm pretty surprised. Is this an anti-swing mechanism?
No, he knows that they open everything white, so it's a split deck hand. He doesn't have the spade suit. He'd be very happy if it passes out. He's got enough defense that he doesn't think the opponents are making a game.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So he's disguised here, though, for sure. Bobby's not going to have him on this end, or at least this good of a hand.
And Joe always says these hands don't matter. These hands don't matter. So if you want to know what's going on in his head, that's what he's thinking.
Right, these just low level, like get
right.
Maybe a swing here or there, but the big ones are
not usually much, exactly.
Yep. We were talking the other day. I have had a few opportunities to play with Joe, not many, but a couple. And did it take you a while, Gillian, to get used to how fast he was? Because I guess you played with Jesus before, who was very fast. The guy, I guess but Joe just makes really complicated decisions super fast. Which, when you're sitting across the table, you're like, could it be this? And of course it is, but it's just like,
I'm just so used to it. I'm so used to it. I don't know. He does everything fast. I mean, have you ever tried to listen?
I've eaten dinner with him, for God's sakes. I know. I look over and it's like, okay, you're ready.
Yeah, I've talked to some of his girlfriends. What? No.
What?
How was he on the tennis court?
He's good.
He was trying hard. Yeah, he's a really good player. I mean, he's definitely
really good. He's a good.
I mean, I think he's very good. I mean, he got tired. He gets tired. He has about 45 minutes in him before his game definitely drops a level. I wish it was true at bridge too. He just like after board 30 that he just started donating back. But it doesn't work like that.
Yeah, and the nice in the chat, Al. Thanks. And Finn Kolesnik is talks as fast and analyzes hands as fast as Joe does too. He's just like, spitfire, blah, 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 down to. So a question is, passing when partner can open help in fooling the opponents into wrongly guessing? Yeah, sometimes, especially
probably.
If it comes down to him wanting to figure this out. So what was the first trick, guys? I didn't see it.
It went a diamond. We put up our queen, and when ace, it looks like the player's got ace, king, fourth of diamonds, and partners led from jack, fourth of diamonds, and now they're trying to establish the 10. Not good news. And Joe can't signal for clubs. He's just going to have to follow suit to this trick. So he definitely wants a club, and I see. So Brad played low, hoping that Joe had king, queen, and it didn't work.
So here we're playing low. Nice. Brad's going to get to score something there. There's that 10. Joe would love a club on the table, right? But he's unlikely to get it. Gillian, what's the weather up? Well, up there. I'm in Chicago.
Beautiful.
What's the weather like over there?
Oh, in Chicago, I have no idea.
No, I meant in New York. Yeah.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
I forgot where I was actually, not
Right.
where you were.
It's been very nice. I woke up to thunderstorms this morning. It was supposed to rain all day, and it just cleared. It's beautiful.
I can see the sunshine coming through. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, my tennis this morning got canceled though. It was too wet.
Wait, you're a tennis player too, Adam?
I am, yeah.
Whoa, we have a nice doubles team here. Maybe
gone over to Joe's house and played.
He has a nice tennis. Well, he used to have nice tennis scores. No longer, right?
Right, he moved.
I'm surprised he didn't lead a low club rather than the ace, but guess he knows. Probably doesn't matter.
Yeah, and there's.
He probably had a read on the high cards.
You want to stick with Joe for one more hand and really dig
let's
deep?
at least see what his hand is.
Yeah, exactly.
And if it's ridiculous, then we can do something else.
So this hasn't been the most exciting set as far as just swingable hands. There was maybe one or two that were kind of oddly shaped, but we've seen some sets with just. Didn't you and I do a session, Adam? You, me, and Greg, where the hands were just wacky.
Yeah, 7 cards here and 6
yeah.
there,
6-6, 7-4. Just
23 high card point. Yeah, it was fun. But this is exactly the kind of set that the Fleischer team wants.
Well, yeah, they want just flat sets all day. They'll take
down the middle, play bridge.
The margin is 76 now, so nickel picking up a bit, but they need a lot more. Here we go. Playing our strong no trump system here, so we'll open a no trump. Let's see if Joe gets to play this hand.
It's confusing that the board in the middle doesn't flip around.
You know what? This is the only flaw I've seen so far. One of the very few glitches is when you do sweat a certain player, drink people, you don't have the right board orientation. It stays in the south, and same with the stamp
and they're
on the
playing
left.
15 boards a segment, right?
Yep. So they have like 4 boards left here, and they are definitely the fastest table. In fact, let's do a quick check of the other table.
Yeah, super they are.
Greco still tanking. No kidding.
If these tablets actually do speed things up considerably, they'll go back to 16 boards a segment.
They have sped things up. There's no question. Yeah. Like I'll tell you that playing the trials this year was unlike any experience I've ever had playing the trials. It was like, I would guess something like almost 2 hours less of bridge a day. That's the amount of difference that they're making. So they could, play another set. Honestly,
would you vote for going back to 16?
I would vote for playing. Yeah, you could play 20 at this pace for sure.
But 16 is the fair kind of. You're talking Adam to get it down to where everybody has the same vulnerability dealer and
yeah, 16 is the right number for sure. They should go back to 16. Although the trials were never 16, for what it's worth. They were always 120 boards. Yeah.
Okay.
It seems like a lot. It seems like enough boards, but
yeah.
All right, so this is hearts, obviously.
I think they play hearts or
usually hearts. Yeah, I forgot. This is not necessarily always hearts for them, so we'll clarify here. 3, no. That sounds like it was hearts.
It's a choice of games. He would be allowed to pass with a 3-card fit here, but I think with ace king, I don't think he will. He's a little bit too afraid of a diamond lead. I mean, he might consider it.
Or maybe even
you can see he did. And this is something. It's something you don't really want to do. This is the kind of decision. As soon as partner bids 2 diamonds, it's really important that you prepare yourself for whether you would pass 3 no trump or bid 4 hearts. Because if you are planning on passing 3 no trump with a 3-card heart fit, it's really important you do it in tempo and not tell the opponents that you have a 3-card fit. Because once you start thinking over 3 no, they know. Right, and so it's much easier to defend when you know that they have an 8-card fit. Then
that makes sense.
This will go. Interesting. It's going to kind of depend on clubs and
3 spades and 2 diamonds and 2 hearts is 7. So it's the fastest way to build to 9 would just be to not lose, to set up 2 extra heart tricks. And the only way he's not going to lose 2 extra heart tricks, or the only risk he has.
4 hearts.
Oh, he's in 4 hearts. He's not in 3 no.
He's in 4 hearts.
Yeah, I got so talking
you're talking about 3 no, and you're like...
That's funny. Yeah, in 4 hearts.
When's the last time you played the wrong contract?
It definitely has happened not that long ago.
Probably
not in the trials. Luckily,
maybe a few weeks ago for me, trials, I think.
But I've definitely in a speedball recently played like a completely wrong contract.
Yep. Happens to everybody. Just like that. That's the beauty of it, Gillian. Like you were talking about. You have Brad and Joe who've played, thousands of hands together. They know their system back and forth, and they end up playing a 2-2 diamond fit. There's hope for the rest of us, right? So it's just it doesn't matter who you are or what your history is. You're not going to be perfect. I try to tell my students the reason we're so good at bridge is because we've made hundreds of thousands of more mistakes than you have already. So get on in there, throw the mistakes around, and you'll get better also.
So he's got to avoid losing 2 hearts, and he's got to avoid losing 3 clubs. Yeah. The best way to avoid losing 3 clubs is actually it's not to play club to the king, but rather to like spin the 9 through and then come back to your hand and then play up to the 10, and then you just need 1 of 2 club honors, either the queen. Trump. Yeah, he doesn't want. It doesn't matter.
No, of course, but just
he's just going to use his 2 entries to both run the 9 of clubs and then play club to the 10, and that's better than playing to the king.
Right. If East had played low on the second heart, he was planning on docking or covering it, right, in case East has Queen Jack 4th.
Yeah.
Right, and then when he played an honor, now he wins it, and there's only 1 trump loser.
The other table is just finishing up board 10. And you can see we're efforting board 12 as we sweat the action.
Come on, you don't have to try.
Hey, you know what?
It's going to slip out anyway.
It happens. I was telling that the problem is I played a lot of poker, and then I lived in a bridge house with a lot of poker players, if that makes sense. So the poker,
is that a poker term?
Like sweating, also chopping action. That's a push.
Yeah, chopping, right? Yeah.
Chopping is kind of like you. I know you've heard Joe and Johnny say that like 8,000 times, right, Gillian?
Yes.
Instead of pushing.
Not sweating, but chopping.
Chopping, yeah. So, club pitch. That's probably not unhelpful, at least. Huh. What did you see what happened there? They probably were just like, "Hey, what's the club position? I'm going to do this."
Yeah.
And
that happens a lot. Yep. Yeah.
So we should see the hand if I unkibitz Joe here. Let's see if we can see it real quick. There it was. Ace of clubs on the left, Queen Jack tight there. So
yeah, he couldn't really get that wrong with Queen Jack tight in this.
So there it is, 620 for.
But a club player could get it wrong. A club player could get it wrong for sure if they just played a club to the king. Like that would happen a lot at the bridge club. Definitely. That they wouldn't recognize the value of the 9 and the 8 and the 10. It's a shame. From a kibitzing perspective, if you're an intermediate player, the claims kind of skip over that and where you get to actually see how the play would have evolved.
Yeah, it's weird when you do sit as one person. This is kind of the only glitch we've seen is they don't kind of properly orient your table position. The board just kind of stays there like it is now, as if you're the south player. Thank you. I was a very good boy today. I feel lovely for that comment. Appreciate it. Joe
and Brad are a lot more solid than I had always assumed that they would be on their pre-app.
That's really funny. I was not just that you say that. Like I just told Joe, when we were playing tennis, I'm like, he was talking about some pair that they were in a team that they were playing that didn't want to play against him, and I told him it's kind of ridiculous because like they're Joe and Brad, what they are great at is like being super disciplined and bound by their system. They're actually not weird to play against at all. Their system is amazing and they play it really well, and they beat you by just not making mistakes, but they are not unpredictable. They're incredibly predictable when you play against them. So and so you saying that they're sound and they're that is who they are. That's who they're. I think they're quite bound by their system.
Right.
I told Joe, actually, Gillian, that I find him much more difficult to play against when he's playing with you than when he's playing with Brad, because with Brad, Joe's kind of forced to stay in the box. He can't deviate within system because Brad will punish him every time.
Gillian just lets him run wild, like a wild
exactly. Gillian's just like it's all. Yeah.
So Lloyd Mandel, thanks a lot for that. Best 4 commentators ever. I agree. Although I have to tell you guys, you have a lot to live up to. We did an informal poll the other day, and Dana Berkowitz won Best Commentator of the Year award.
Oh, nice.
However, there are some mail-in ballots that were for me, so we're continuing to calculate. We'll be with you. Joe, it says Joe is the anti-Zia.
No, he's not. He's like kind of the Z. Joe is like the Z of our generation, honestly. Like he's like super creative and yeah. I don't know. I actually think that's funny that you call him the anti-Zia.
To be honest, all these teams, like everyone, you would love having dinner with any of these teams, either of these teams. Not only are they great bridge players, they're also just terrific people. They're not. You never see them. No matter how bad the set goes, I guarantee there was no one yelling at each other last night.
No,
they were having conversations constructively.
Also, see the camaraderie between teams at the trials is amazing. Everybody's like supportive, rooting for each other. Like it's the nicest environment you could ever imagine. Like there's no fighting at all. At least, yeah.
If there is, it's silent fighting.
Yeah, right. It's in the or it's fighting with yourself.
The nationals that they won, Brad and Joe were on Wolfson's team, and they won. I guess it was the spin gold. They had a few disagreements about system, and by the end, they were not speaking.
Oh.
They did not speak for, I think certainly the finals, and maybe even the match before that. And I guess what they both said is that, and they used to say that with Justin also, is that when they were all fighting, that was the best bridge because nobody wanted to make a mistake. And so
that was Veldhoven actually. Joe and Jalal were just destroying pairs in that competition, and they hated each other's guts throughout the entirety of that tournament. And they were playing amazing. I'm not going to make a mistake. If you do, I'm going to rip your head off.
Brad and Joe
here we go.
This would have been an interesting one to just look through Joe's perspective.
I know. He just hops the 4 hearts.
Instead of bidding Michaels, he just bid 4 hearts. And now when it goes 4 spades, it's kind of annoying because he hasn't shown his 2-suiter or his.
Brad's going to bid though, right?
Brad. There's a good chance Brad will bid. Right. Good call. He's got support. He knows that if Joe's 2-suited, he's fitting very well with Joe's second suit.
Oh,
he didn't.
He did pass.
Interesting.
Huh.
Does Joe
that
take another
Singleton
bite?
7 of clubs. Singleton 7 of clubs makes this hand makeable on the double club hook.
You mean if? Oh, sorry. You mean east-west 4 spades?
Yeah, they're in 4 spades here,
they're going to take 2 hearts, a diamond.
They can avoid losing a club, but they've got to be careful because they're going to need 3 entries to the dummy. 2 entries to dummy after drawing trumps. They're really going to need to use that 4 of spades as an entry. I think we're going to see him win the diamond, or he's going to play a diamond now.
He's going to
is he going to play a diamond? He might play a trump. Okay, he played a diamond. Diamond to the king.
6 of spades.
He's going to play king of spades, 5 of spades to the ace, and the only way to avoid a club loser, which he can see, he's going to lose a diamond no matter what. So his only way to avoid losing, well, there's 2 ways you might avoid losing a club. Well, first of all, Queen Jack Doubleton, but that's one in I don't know what the stat is, but very unlikely. The other possibility is if North has Singleton Queen or Singleton Jack, you might be able to drop the honor under your ace and then go to dummy and finesse them out of it. Or finally, you could do what works on this hand, which is after cashing, you have to not cash the ace of clubs. you have to go over to the ace of spades and lead the 10 of clubs right from the table and finesse through them and just double hook. And now if South had the 7 of clubs, that wouldn't work. Like Queen Jack 7/4 would be enough for a slow club loser, but because the 7 falls over there, it is makeable. So he's going to play the 2 right now. He's going to play the 5 to the ace, carefully keeping the 3 to use later. He knows he might need to go back there later. Okay, 6 to the ace. Now, when trumps go badly, he's going to draw the second round of trumps. But he knows he's by doing that, he is going to put himself at risk to go down a few extra, but he doesn't care about that.
Yeah, he just wants to make it.
He might spin the 10 of clubs right now, actually.
So there are 2 holdings where he needs to play the top club first, singleton jack and singleton 10.
Mm-hmm.
And there are 4 holdings when you run the 10, right? Queen jack, all 3 queen jack thirds, and then the stiff 7.
And there it is. Well done.
Yeah.
Well done, Mr. Weinstein.
This seems like the favorite.
And look at that 3 of spades. Keeping that tiny 3 of spades from the very beginning.
What a great teaching hand.
Yep.
You see, he just claimed.
Yep. But he knows it's giving a diamond to the opponents, and that's minus 420.
How would they have done in hearts? A spade, a
club, a diamond, and a spade, right? If they guess hearts correctly.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the ultimate board. We just saw the penultimate board that we didn't announce. That's our problem. Beautiful hand, beautiful mind also. Which player am I talking about? Steve Weinstein. I got to watch Steve Weinstein play a few hours of poker, and that was a highlight of my poker life for sure.
I've spent a lot of time with Steve. So when I was... I don't know if I've ever told this in a broadcast, but when I was in my late teens, I had taken up online poker, and I didn't know Steve at all. And I went up to him, and then I knew he was one of the best poker players in the world. And I went up to him and asked him, "Would you take me under your wing and teach me poker?" And he said yes, but only if you let me back you. And I drove from my house in Toronto to his upstate New York house and stayed there for a week and trained under him and took off. I ended up playing poker for a living for 4 years because of that. He made pretty good money off of me for sure.
He's a smart investor.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, Gavin. I never knew that at all. No, not even. I don't think you ever
you don't know that I was so successful that we then got a whole group of bridge players to come to his house, including Johnny, Kevin.
Well, I knew,
Frederick Nystrom from Sweden.
Cran.
Cran. Who else came? French guy, Julian Gaviard came. So anyway, so we got a whole crew of people, and it was a really fun time of life. We definitely it was during the online poker boom.
Yep.
So the way that worked, Gav, he staked you, he put up the money.
Exactly. Yeah, and honestly, above all the poker skills, what he really taught me was from his investing background was that in order to be a successful gambler or successful poker player, the most important thing is to not go broke. Which means like you need to be playing a stake that your bankroll can handle. So basically, he gave me a certain amount of money and said you cannot play above this stake until you reach this amount of money. And that's how so that's how you, because really in poker. Honestly, there's a lot of variance in bridge too, but in poker there's enough variance that if you're playing too high of a stake, you can't handle the downswing. You go broke before you can realize your expected value, and so it's the same. Bridge has
honestly, a lot of really good poker players don't play poker anymore because they didn't know how to manage their bankroll. Mm-hmm. You can be a great poker player, but if you only have 4 buy-ins for the event you're playing in, you're probably playing too high. All right, here we go. Ducking a diamond, and he will eventually have to take a spade from us, right? Yeah. So this is 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, North-South have 4 tricks as soon as they get in. So
spade finesse losing and 2 diamond tricks, and that's downzo.
It's not like 4 spades is a picnic with the 4-1 split, but you don't have this diamond wide open situation.
Here's a question. Had anyone been on a picnic in their life ever?
Yes.
Yes.
Of course.
Gavin? I don't know if you've been on a picnic before.
I mean, traditionally, like with a basket,
basket,
bringing sandwiches.
blanket. It
I'm
has
sure
to be
I've done
blanket
it.
basket.
As
I
a
don't know.
kid, yeah.
You have to have a blanket.
Yes.
I don't know.
I mean,
you certainly have to have a basket.
You have to have a basket. Yeah, you can't like order Uber Eats and say it's a picnic. No.
I think you need to widen the definition in the modern age.
You can't. I can't ask you a question and then you redefine the question. That's not fair.
I don't know.
All right. So the lead is back up to 80 now, which means there hasn't been much movement in this set so far, and that is the last hand here, down 1. So they end with a good game that's made by Weinstein, and then 3-0 just kind of down.
I mean, they might make lead. 4 spades, right? Like 2 hearts and a spade.
Yeah, interesting actually. Is the spade break going to give them any trouble in that situation? No, because the hearts will.
It's going to be interesting.
2 hearts, a diamond. Well, let's sweat the action at the other table, guys.
So it's an interesting decision there, right? Steve bid what I assume is a forcing 2-0 trump, and Bobby didn't look for the major.
This is the original hand here, guys. You remember this? Did we see this at their table? I think we might have jumped in after this hand, possibly. At the other table, they played 3 spades. Here, they're just playing 2 spades. And we're right in the middle of it. 2 boards left, but I suppose we're going to see whether they'll make that 1 spade hand, which you would guess Kevin and Batherson Hurd would kind of get to that one and make it. And then the last hand, we'll see what happens. And if I don't say it now, I'll probably forget. Thank you for joining. I really appreciate all of you coming.
Yeah, it's fun.
And it was a special treat to have Gillian, and we're gonna put this in the Chiron.
Hey, sorry, what?
Special treat.
Why did she get special treat?
Whoa! Just cool your jets there. Cool your jets there, Gavin. Gillian gave us the best thing to put on the Chiron. The trials better than the Met Gala. Okay,
Yeah.
so there you go. And well, this reminds me of a story in Morocco.
The outfits aren't as good though.
Gillian, I got a good story for you in Morocco. We're sitting at dinner, me, Kevin, Johnny, Warren, and Gavin. And there's something about Gavin signing a piece of paper, and I said, "Oh, when you're famous, this will be worth something. This autograph." And he looks across the table like hurt, and he goes, "You mean when I'm famous? I'm not famous already." So that's the kind of diva we're dealing with here, Gillian, as you can see.
When I was in Biarritz last summer, actually playing pairs, the mixed pairs with Johnny, and he's pretty shy. Somebody came over, like a grandma came over with their grandchild who knew who he was, and they came and asked him for an autograph.
That is sweet.
And it was so
That's awesome.
cute. Yeah, I mean, he was so sweet, but you could just see he was so embarrassed.
So we see the different treatment here. Joe just hopped to 4 hearts with the north hand at the other table, and here a more deliberate 2 hearts. Not a Michael's bid though either, just because I guess he has just 6 really good hearts. He wants to at least get that suit out there first, and now he sees his partner raise.
And I thought Kevin might use a maximal double 14 opposite 6 to 9. I understand not looking for game.
Yeah. Will they even get to play 4 spades is the question. Ewan has both the sword and the crown, so Ewan is a super user, and I believe he has murdered Greg. Is that possible? Is that what happens, Adam?
Probably.
Can you only get the sword if you...
I have no idea. But so I think that
David Devine.
If he was worried...
There we go. This is going to be a swing.
Spade, right? If he thought they were going to bid 4 spades, he probably would have bid 4 diamonds to help partner make the decision over 4 spades.
But this definitely didn't feel like it, right? They were just
right, because he just raised directly to 2, and Kevin just bid 3.
Yeah, we had a simple raise and no invite, so yeah, no point. But if Bathurst had made that maximal double, he might have bid 4 diamonds.
It's like a rock, paper, scissors game going on here, and I will win now. Boom. Camera wins. All right, so this is going to be a game swing.
Yeah. This is definitely a swing.
Pretty good one, right? Eight hundo is 13.
8 ever, 9 never in the trump suit. They've got to avoid losing the queen of hearts. They've lost the club. They're going to lose a spade. They're going to lose the ace of diamonds. So it's just a matter of stopping the trump loser. And not only is it percentage to play for the drop with your 9-card fit, although I will say them competing might change that math. Although the way it looks from Jeff's perspective is that Kevin, who competed to 3, just has 6 trumps, so he's not going to play. It's not that isn't the case.
He's not going to play lefty to be long in trumps.
He's not going to play him to be long in trumps for bidding 3 spades.
Could matter here. Good point. So welcome to the greatest event of the year so far.
He could also do a little testing out and find all these aces and kings in Kevin's hand, but
there's the testing that's necessary, and there's a claim probably very quickly here. Very nice. So we'll see the last hand. So
double game swing.
Yeah, that's a big one for Nickel, and let's see if they can add to it here. The lead is now 67.
Well, this is this board is the last one is a potential pickup position for Fleischer. Right, if they get to spades rather than
exactly. But you never know. And once again, Ewan McNay, you will be the guy with the camera, the sword, and the crown. You'll have the triple crown. So see him in the second segment right here on Twitch. And those of you on YouTube, let me throw that Twitch link in there for you. We will be dark on YouTube just for the second segment, and Adam will be joining. Yes. With Owen Lean, who is a really fun guy to broadcast with. Not as fun as Gillian. Way more fun than Gavin, obviously.
We got a question here about the Nickel team's lineup today. What are the rules in the trials about how many boards everyone has to play?
I believe half, right? Is that right, Gavin? To be can you get
even to move to the next round? You have to play half.
So you can't slide in there without playing half.
If they played just these 4, they could add Nickel and Cats back to the team if they want, right?
They could because of so they have rules in the USBF that you can't just like add anybody. There's a credentials committee that the pair has to go through, but I would be amazed if I feel like if they didn't allow Nick to be added. Nick's got the best record of basically anybody in U.S. history other than Mexstroth and Bob Hammond, who won all their championships with him. And so,
but at the same time,
the thing putting up chips stuff was unbelievable. Like the 34 national. I mean, that I might be lowballing, by the way. I get my information off of Bridge Winners and Wikipedia. Wikipedia has good bridge results.
They're playing in no trump. They actually found their spade fit.
David Devine, thank you so much for that super chat. And it is fun to hear the stories. And we have great guests at every broadcast. I agree. This being our favorite group of guests.
This 3-0 bid here, I think probably pretty much showed. It showed not just it gave partner the option of passing with a 4-card fit. Typically, if Johnny could have discovered whether Kevin had 3 or 4, probably by bidding it, forcing 2-no trump. So by jumping to 3-no trump, it basically says, partner, I only have 4 spades, and I actually think 3-no trump might be the best contract. It turns out 3-no trump was the best contract, but they needed to play it from the west side, having the diamond lead come into the queen doubleton as opposed to through the queen doubleton. Because it's going through the queen doubleton, North can set up their diamonds pretty efficiently.
And it's unlucky that none of these finesses work and the spades are 4-1. It's not a friendly
no, of
hand.
Course.
3-no's not a bad contract.
I'm pretty sure 4 spades is a better contract on this hand. You've got the diamond finesse, which is going to win. It's just you're basically, what you needed. They're pretty close, I guess. They're pretty close, but I would guess that 4 spades is a better contract. If you can see both hands, that you would say I'd rather be in 4 spades. But
yeah, especially knowing that North has most of the strength.
All right. Well, it looks like it's going to be chopping action on this for sure. It's just going to go eventual spade finesse and bad news, and there we have it. Well, thank you all for joining on both platforms, and thank you guys for joining. First of all, Gillian, thank you so much. Adam,
for having me.
Wonderful to have you again. Rob Barrington signing off. Wait, Gavin. No, Gavin. You know I love talking bridge with you more than anybody, so it's always a treat to have you here. And if it gets close at the end, any of you and all of you, send me a message. Jump on into the chat, and if you get excited about bridge, we'll see you in the next few sets. Thanks a lot, everybody.
Yeah, make sure you join us next set. It'll be fun.
Yep, exactly. Ewan is there with Adam and Owen, and